So some say that people strive to acquire things to follow and impress the crowd. But are they using their possessions, or are the possessions using them? We explore the topic raised in a recent Gleaner article with Sister Rani, Center Coordinator and Meditation Teacher at Raj Yoga Meditation Center, Jamaica. Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Smile Jamaica. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure to have you. You personally wrote that article?
Yes, sir.
Why did you write it?
To make our public know that these days our possessions own us more than we own them.
What do you mean by that?
Actually, if we see that our possessions dictate how we feel during the day, right from the morning, you wake up by alarm, the traffic, or our boss, supervisor, our friends or colleagues, we see that they tend to dictate how I'm feeling. And that makes us pause and think if I'm in my control or I'm in control of them.
What is the danger of being controlled by those external material possessions and other forces and other people versus me being in control of my feelings and my emotions?
The biggest danger is me losing my peace, me losing my happiness. Think about it. If I'm on the red light, if a taxi driver passes the way I do not want or I do not expect, how does it make me feel? If my possessions as my mobile phone, if does not help me, like the network goes or the Wi-Fi goes, how do I feel? Do I start to panic? Do they dictate how I feel? So losing my peace, losing my happiness is the biggest danger.
But then we are in an age now where there are lots of things to have, or many things to own. But even in a simpler time, would the same concept hold? So if the door to my home is malfunctioning, the window breaks and cold air is coming in, I can't sleep well, that is going to also affect my emotion. Isn't that a similar circumstance?
True. It's not always the electronic devices. Anything we own, like the simplest thing we all own is our body, right, is our mind. If body is little off track, little sick, my mind is disturbed. And even the subtlest thing, like someone may not own a house or a car, but I do own my body, I do own my mind. So if my mind is under the control of external possessions, be it my opinion, my thought, if I give you an opinion and you did not like it or you did not appreciate it, how does that make me feel?
Yeah. You mentioned that it's not always the electronic devices, but aren't they the biggest culprits? I mean, artificial intelligence, some people, they want to write a thesis, artificial intelligence does that. They have an exam, artificial intelligence does that. Does that not make us lazy? Because of, we can Google anything we want to know. Someone says, why is that red? Why is that red? And I find, doesn't that make us lazy?
And it would be interesting to you, I Googled you.
So you're lazy.
That's the thing, that these technology-driven things may give you more information to enhance your life. So not necessarily they are always culprits. You can enhance your knowledge, you can improve about what you know, or you can become lazy. So it depends on the user and not the technology.
Yeah, what did Google tell you about us?
Good things.
Thanks, Google. There is a difference between owning things and being dependent on them, but it's a thin line. Share with us the both sides of that line.
Owning things, meaning I have all the possessions and I use them whenever needed. Like if I have air condition, if I have mobile, I have my own car, these are the things we should be using. Why not make our life convenient and comfortable? But the difference is when they are not available or they are in a state that I do not expect, then they make me feel panic. There's a fear of losing them. Even relationships, fear of losing your relationships make you feel what?
In other words, you're suggesting that we should not be dependent
True.
on these things.
And I do suppose owning so many things and being so dependent on them you point out feeling anxiety when they're not functioning properly. Essentially, that anxiety is you going through some kind of withdrawal because you don't have them now, and you're like, oh, when next will I have them, and so on. What's the danger in feeling that level of anxiety and withdrawal from your things not functioning, or you're losing them to any circumstance?
For example, when you wake up in the morning, do you check your phones? Or the first thing you do that?
Not first.
Okay, that's great. Because these days people, the first thing they do is wake up and check their phones. So owning them and then not having the way we expected feels like I'm not getting what I'm supposed to, because they provide us my happiness, validation, they provide us all the feelings that I want to feel. And if they are not there, that withdrawal, fear of losing your possessions make you feel the way you don't want to feel.
Some people might say, so I have Google. Why not use it? I mean, why should I be trying to figure out everything in my head when I have Google? And some people might think that's not being dependent. That's just, I want to know something and I want to know something right away. So what's wrong with that? Some people might say, there's nothing wrong with that. Even if I do it every single day, I'm using it to find out something that I need to know.
And truly, there's nothing wrong in using technology. But tomorrow, if there's no internet and you can't Google, what is the option?
And on that point, connectivity is exactly where I was going next, because I understand why some people may feel that need, for example, in the morning to immediately reach for a device. It is to reconnect. So they're losing, they feel like that while they've been asleep, they have missed out and they want to immediately reconnect. What should we really be connecting to or be connected to?
The first and most important thing to connect to is ourselves. Because what actually do we get when we connect to other people or social media these days? Validation, happiness, appreciation. And tomorrow, if I do not get them, I feel sense of unworthiness, that I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. So if every day in the morning I give that validation to myself, if I appreciate my effort that I give, then I will not be dependent to the external things.
Final question from me, Sister Rani. What is art of detachment?
It's a very beautiful thing. Detachment, usually people think that creates separation, that you are not concerned, that you will be sacrificing things. But detachment actually is the awareness between the owner, the ownership, and the owned. There are three things. I am the owner, there is something that I own, and the act of owning. So just being aware that I am the owner and not the owned, that gives a sense of liberation, freedom, and you are able to use it better.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Center coordinator and meditation teacher at Raj Yoga Meditation Center, Jamaica, Sister Rani.
Coming up in the next half hour, doing business with a Multilink plus the second edition of News in 5.